their Y matrices can be added. Okay. The next problem that we did not tackle last time is here. Suppose we are given Z parameters of a two-port network. What are the formulas that you can use directly without going through the inversion process to calculate the Y parameters? The derivations are not that difficult. I've done only one sample. The others I am going to leave to you, but try to understand the basic philosophy behind these derivations. In this case, you are given the 4 Z parameters. So you write equations 1 and 2, where both the voltages are dependent variables and both the currents are independent variables. Okay. Now they want formulas for Y parameters. So somehow you have to reshape equations 1 and 2 into a form where V1 and V2 become the independent variables and I1 and I2 become the dependent variables. That's the challenge. I'm sure there is more than one way of doing that. What I did was I went to equation 1 and I wrote the formula for I2, which is V1 minus Z11 I1 divided by Z12. This is equation 3. And I substituted that in equation 2. So I got V2 equal to Z21 I1 plus Z21 divided by Z12 multiplied by V1 minus Z11 I1. I'm sure you will be able to follow this step quite easily. Okay. From there, what I did was I simplified the result for V2 and I reshaped it into a form where I could write I1 as a linear combination of V1 and V2. With some coefficients, of course. And those coefficients are Y11 and Y22. Sorry, Y11 and Y12. Okay. So this is how you can derive the formulas for Y11 and Y12. Now, to get the other two formulas, what we do is we go back to equation 1. In fact, I went to equation 1 and wrote a formula for I1 from there. And I put it in equation 2. And whatever result came out, I simplified it and fitted it into the form where I2 is a linear combination of V1 and V2, but there are coefficients involved. So comparing this with the well-known standard representation of I2 in terms of Y parameters, I get Y21 and Y2. Feel free to come up with different methods of doing it. The important thing is that the role of dependent variables and independent variables has to be reversed in doing the derivation. Other technique, of course, is you can directly invert the Z matrix to get the Y matrix. Then you don't have to worry about these formulas. Both methods are fine, okay? The last problem which I would like you to tackle is supposing you are given Y parameters. How would you calculate Z parameters? Of course,
Sir,
one method is in matrix
sir,
inversion. Hello?
sir,
Yeah,
screen is not visible.
yeah.
It's not clear.
Not visible at all?
No, it's
Not
not
It's not
clearly
clear.
clear. Okay.
visible.
Okay. How about now?
It's okay. It's okay.
Is better? Okay, fine. I'll do that. Okay. So basically, even in the previous case, essentially we have come up with formulas for 4 y parameters if we know the 4 z parameters. That's the previous problem. And here we have the reverse problem, where if you are given the y parameters, how do you calculate z parameters? It is a mathematical manipulation of the basic definitions of z and y parameters. I would like you to tackle this problem yourself. Okay. If you have difficulty, always contact me. Now I want to move to the third category of parameters, which is called ABCD parameters. Let me close this document. They are also known as transmission parameters. Both the names are common, ABCD parameters or transmission parameters. So far, what we did was, for Z parameters, we took both the currents as independent variables and both the voltages as dependent variables. For Y parameters, we did the opposite. We took both the voltages as independent variables and both the currents as dependent variables. Now we change our approach. What we do is we take both the variables relating to port 2 as independent variables and both the variables relating to port 1 as dependent variables. There's other possibility also that you could use variables relating to port 1 as independent and those relating to port 2 as dependent. That possibility leads to another kind of parameters. But the standard technique for ABCD parameters is that we choose V2, I2 as independent variables and V1, I1 as dependent variables. Other thing that is in this case is that now, although I1 is still going into the port, I2 is assumed to be coming out of the port. That's the difference here. Okay. Now, naturally, A, B, C, D will not have the same units because now one of the independent variables is a current, the other one is a voltage. And similarly, one of the dependent variables is a current, the other one is a voltage. However, the basic philosophy continues. Suppose I write equations 1 and 2. Okay. Which in matrix form can be represented by equation 3. How would you define A? Put I2 equal to 0 and take the ratio V1 by V2, which will have no units because it is the ratio of two voltages. For defining B, you will put V2 equal to 0 and will take the ratio V1 upon I2. So B will have the unit ohm. C can be defined as I1 upon V2 when I2 is 0. And C would have units mho. D can be defined as I1 upon I2 when V2 is 0 and it will have no units because it's a ratio of two currents. So A has no units, B is measured in ohms, C is measured in moles, and D has no units. That's the way it is. Okay. Now, application of this definition to a very simple problem that we have seen a lot of times in the past. A single series impedance, Z. Remember, now I2 is supposed to flow outward. From port 2, the current is supposed to flow outward. Anyway, as far as A is concerned, you put I2 equal to 0 and take the ratio of V1 and V2. If I2 is 0, I1 is also 0. There will be no potential drop across Z, and V1 and V2 would be equal. So A happens to be 1. B is defined as V1 upon I2 when V2 is 0. So you put a short circuit in the output. To make V2 equal to 0, you put a short circuit in the output. And then to figure out V1 divided by I2. Obviously, the answer is Z. C is defined as I1 divided by V2 when I2 is 0. I1 divided by V2 when I2 is 0. If I2 is 0, I1 will also be 0. So I1 divided by V2 would be 0. So C is 0. And D is I1 divided by I2 when V2 is 0. So if V2 is 0, look at this diagram. I1 divided by I2 is 1 because I1 and I2 are equal. Hence, we have figured out the 4 parameters of a series impedance. They are 1, Z, 0, and 1. Okay, simple exercise. A reciprocal network, I have told you already, I think, that a reciprocal network is one in which you can interchange port 1 and port 2 without affecting the performance or functionality. It has been shown that for a network to be reciprocal, AD minus BC has to be equal to 1. I will probably show it to you in a different presentation someday, the derivation for this, but right now take it from me. That AD minus BC equal to 1 is the condition for reciprocity of any two-port network. So this network that we have just considered, you see AD is 1, BC is 0, so AD minus BC is 1. Hence it's a reciprocal network. Second problem, again the well-known T and pi networks. We have figured out Z parameters for these. Let's try to figure out ABCD parameters for both of them. In part A, capital A is V1 upon V2 when I2 is 0. Now, if I2 is 0, I'm looking at T network right now. If I2 is 0, essentially you have the circuit reduced to Z1 and Z3. Okay. So V1 divided by V2 can be figured out. It turns out to be Z1 plus Z3 divided by Z3. It's potential divider essentially. Okay, so A is quite easy to figure out. B is a little more interesting. V1 divided by I2 when V2 is 0. So I'm putting a short circuit in the output. I1 is coming in, I2 is going out. So the difference I1 minus I2 will go through Z3. in this case. I write the KCL equations and KVL equations. I solve them. I figured out I1 upon I2, and based on that, I figured out V1 upon I2. You can go through the derivations. B turns out to have a very interesting shape. Z1, Z2 plus Z2, Z3 plus Z3, Z1 divided by Z3. B has dimensions of impedance, obviously. Okay, please go through the derivation. I think it's fairly clear how I got to this point. Then C, in case of C, I2 has to be 0 again. So I'm back to the combination of Z1 and Z3. And I1 upon V2 needs to be figured out. It simply turns out to be 1 upon Z3. That's common sense. It's Ohm's law. Okay, V2 is across Z3 and I1 is flowing through it. So I1 upon I1 divided by Z2, sorry, I1 divided by V2 is simply 1 upon Z3. Simple answer. Fourth one is I1 divided by I2 when V2 is 0. This also can be done reasonably easily. Okay. I've written both the KVL equations. From there, I have eliminated unnecessary things and I have figured out I1 divided by I2 as Z2 plus Z3 divided by Z3. Now please look at this result and compare it with result for A, result for capital A. Capital A is Z1 plus Z3 divided by Z3. Capital D is Z2 plus Z3 divided by Z3. It has been shown that if A equal to D, then the network is symmetric. So this network is not symmetric unless two impedances are equal. Okay. Now, second part, where we have got a pi network. Again, you apply basic definitions. A is V1 divided by V2 when I2 is 0. Now, even when I2 is 0, you still have Y3 and Y2 present. Okay. So I have written equations based on this topology. It's basic circuit theory that I am doing right now. Capital I is the current which I am assuming as flowing through Y1. And capital I1 is coming in, so the difference will go through Y3 and Y2. I2 is 0. Okay. So I is Y1 V1, and then V1 is I1 minus I divided by Y3 plus V2. Sorry, plus just a minute. I1 minus I. Yeah. Okay. If I take the second loop, this is what I get. So basically, then I do eliminations, and it's a bit more interesting derivation. The result turns out to be Y2 plus Y3 divided by Y3. And I apply other definitions again. In this case, V2 is 0. For calculating capital B, V2 has to be 0. So effect of Y2 goes away. And after doing basic derivations, B turns out to be 1 divided by Y3. For C, again, I2 is 0. You can go through the derivations. If you see a mistake, let me know anytime. So what we get in this case is, it's a little more complicated. C derivation is a little lengthier, but maybe you can figure out a simpler way, quite possible. C turns out to be Y1, Y2 plus Y2, Y3 plus Y3, Y1 divided by Y3. and D turns out to be, using simple V2 equal to 0 condition, 1 plus Y1 upon Y3. Okay. These are fairly standard formulas, but if there is a mistake, I'll like to correct it anytime. Now, why are we doing ABCD parameters? That's actually even more important. You can always do the derivations for various networks, but why are we doing this? That is what the last document, the final document, will tell you. Oh, before we do that, let's look at one more problem. Show that the two networks shown below are reciprocal by their very nature. These are networks that we have considered in the previous problem. One is a T network, the other one is a pi network. So to prove that they are reciprocal, we have to calculate AD minus BC and make sure it is equal to 1 in both cases. We have already derived the formulas for ABCD for network A and for B also. So what you do is you do some algebra now, multiply A by D, multiply B by C, and subtract these two results. Okay, just 1 minute. 1 plus Z1, 1 plus Z2 by Z3. And I think once you complete the simplification of the result, lot of terms cancel out and you get 1. Hence the network A is reciprocal. For network B also, we have figured out formulas for ABCD parameters, but those formulas were in terms of Y1, Y2, Y3, while in this case, you are given Z1, Z2, Z3. So note that Y1 is 1 upon Z1, Y2 is 1 upon Z2, and Y3 is 1 upon Z3. Using that, those formulas need to be modified. The formulas that we obtained in the previous problem need to be rewritten in terms of Z1, Z2, Z3. And then we make the check, AD minus BC. It turns out to be 1 again. Okay. Now, the importance of these parameters. We saw that for series connection of two networks, Z parameters are the best because you can simply add them up. For parallel connection, Y parameters are really good because you can add them up to get the overall Y parameters. There's a third category of connection called cascade connection, CASCADE. It means the output of one network becomes the input of the next network. In that case, although you can still use Z parameters and Y parameters, but it has been found that it is more convenient mathematically if we use ABCD parameters. This is the problem that we will solve quickly. Consider a two-port network A with transmission matrix given and another two-port network B given with given transmission matrix. Capital A, capital B, capital C, capital D for network A with superscript A on each one of them. And similarly for the second network, I'm putting superscript B on ABCD parameters. That's how I'm distinguishing the two sets of ABCD parameters. Now let the output of the network A be inputted to network B. This is called cascade connection. What will be the overall transmission matrix? This is how the diagram looks like. I have input voltage V1, input current I1, and output voltage V4 and output current I4. In between, I have got network A, whose output is I2, V2, And then I have network B whose input is I3, V3. Now, cascade connection means making V2 equal to V3 and I2 equal to I3. Okay. So what we do is we write the matrix notation. We write the formula in matrix notation for both the networks. V1, I1 in terms of V2, I2 is written as equation 1. V3, I3 is the input for second network. So that is written in terms of output of second network, V4, I4 by equation 2. On top of it, because of cascading, I'm imposing V2 equal to V3 and I2 equal to I3. So if you take equation 1 and you know that V2 is V3 and I2 is I3, so I can write equation 1 by replacing the column matrix on the right hand side by V3, I3. Okay. But V3, I3 column matrix is also given by equation 2. Essentially, what is happening is the column matrix on the right hand side of equation 1 is equal to column matrix on the left hand side of equation 2 because of cascading. So I can simply take the right hand side of equation 2 and put it in equation 1 by removing V2, I2. So V1, I1 in terms of V4, I4 turns out to be given by equation 5. So the overall ABCD matrix is the multiplication of individual ABCD matrices. It's a very convenient mathematical technique to handle cascaded networks if you go for ABCD parameters. If you are having networks in series, you use Z parameters. If you are having networks in parallel, you use Y parameters. If you have networks cascaded with each other, you go for ABCD parameters. But in the process, you have to go back and forth, converting from one kind of parameters to another all the time. That is why I'm insisting on you doing derivations, how to derive Y parameters from Z parameters from Y parameters, and so on. So this is how this is proved. Overall, ABCD matrix is the product of individual ABCD matrices. This result can very easily be generalized. If you had more than 2 networks cascaded, you simply multiply all the individual ABCD matrices to get the overall ABCD matrix. But remember, always start with the ABCD matrix of the leftmost network. Don't confuse yourself. Don't go from the right hand side. It has to be done from the input side. Always. All right. Now convergence formulas. For a two-port network whose impedance parameters are known, show that transmission parameters are given by these equations. I've proven it by doing the basic substitutions again. For Z parameters, for the same network, I write equation 1 and 2. For ABCD parameters, I write equation 3 and 4. And please be careful here. When we were talking about Z parameters, I2 was supposed to be going into the port. But when we are talking about ABCD parameters, I2 is supposed to be coming out. That's why in equation 3 and 4, you see a minus sign to make the compatibility between the two definitions. Okay. So these four equations now have to be reshaped and we have to figure out formulas for A, B, C, D in terms of Z11, Z12, Z21 and Z22. How would you get A, B, C, D parameters? If you can somehow reshape equation 1 and 2 by treating I2, V2 as independent variables and I1, V1 as dependent variables, because that's how ABCD parameters are defined. I've tried my own method. I'm sure you can figure out some other methods. I've taken equation 1 and making use of equation 2, I wrote this equation. V1 minus Z11 I1 equal to Z12 I2, and I2 I have taken from equation 2. And this result ultimately gives me equation 5. V1 minus something multiplied by I1 equal to V2. Oh, sorry, something multiplied by V2. Double check the derivations. Equation 2 can be reshaped also in terms of I1 as a function of V2 and I2. What I do is I take Z22 I2 in equation 2 on the right hand side, on the left hand side, and then I divide the result by Z21 to write I1 in terms of V2 and I2. This is simple. I get equation 6. And if I compare equation 6 with the standard form of I1 given by equation 4, I get C and D right away. Okay. C turns out to be 1 upon Z21, D turns out to be Z22 divided by Z2. Then I use equation 6 in equation 5 and get the result shaped into the standard form, which actually takes a little work, but ultimately it is possible to write V1 as something multiplied by V2 plus something multiplied by I2, minus actually. So I compare this equation 9 with the desired form, equation 3, and I got A and B values directly by comparison. So these are the four formulas. A is Z11 divided by Z21, B is Z11 minus Z22, Z11 Z22 minus Z12 Z21 divided by Z21. C is 1 upon Z21 and D is Z22 divided by Z2. In a similar manner, you can figure out other derivation, other conversion formulas also. I don't think I want to do everything, but if time permits, you can do it. Supposing the story is other way around. You are given ABCD parameters and you want to figure out Z parameters. Try to prove it to yourself that these are the four formulas. Z11 should work out to A divided by C. Z12 should work out to AD minus BC divided by C. Z21 should work out to 1 divided by C, and Z22 should work out to D divided by C. If the network is symmetric, A and D would be equal, so Z11 and Z22 would also be equal. If the network is reciprocal, AD minus BC will be equal to 1, and Z12 and Z21 would also be equal to each other. Similarly, if you are given Y parameters, how do you figure out A, B, C, D? Do it yourself if time permits, but these are the standard formulas. Okay. I know it is not possible to memorize all these formulas. I fully realize that. Okay. So when it comes to exam, we'll figure out a way. I fully appreciate that you cannot memorize all these formulas. I cannot, for sure. But more important right now is you should be able to derive them. Again, if you are given ABCD parameters, how do you calculate Y parameters? These are the formulas. Try to prove them if you want. These are the well-known formulas. Okay. There is a table which I am going to send you soon, which has the summary of all these formulas. Ideally, in the exam, you should have access to that table. Because in the exam, normally you are given numerical problems. You are given values of inductor, capacitor, resistor, etc. If derivation is asked, then of course you have to do the derivation. But suppose derivation is not being asked, then I don't expect you to derive the interconversion formulas. You should have that table with you so that you can use the right formula, the correct formula, to convert one kind of parameters to another. I'll see how to do it in the exam. Maybe I'll supply that table to you and you use the table judiciously. Table has a lot of information in it. We are essentially following the book by David Poger right now. There's a chapter called Microwave Networks or something like that. That's where most of this information is there. He doesn't have everything that I am doing for you, but the gist is there for sure. Okay. Now, one problem with all these parameters, Z, Y, whatever. Let me stop this document first. One thing that you have seen, whether you talk about Z parameters or Y parameters or ABCD parameters, they are all using voltages and currents. This is a major problem. What happens is, you know that voltage is what? It's potential difference between 2 points or 2 nodes. So essentially you take electric field, which is measured in volts per meter, and integrate that over a length to get the voltage or potential difference. Unfortunately, when frequencies are high, that integration does not lead to unique results. Even for the current, you use Ampere's law. You take current density multiplied by a small area and then integrate the result over the entire surface to get the total current. Even that does not lead to unique answers, unfortunately, at high frequencies. And other thing is, you have seen that to derive Z parameters or Y parameters or ABCD parameters, we are short circuiting and open circuiting inputs and outputs. That also does not work very well when frequencies become high. An open circuit is not necessarily an open circuit. Just because 2 terminals are not physically connected does not mean that at 100 megahertz they are not having any coupling between them. They actually will have coupling between them. So perfect open circuit is not that easy to realize at high frequencies. Perfect short circuit, same story. It should have no resistance, no inductance, no capacitance. But the reality is that if you put a wire across 2 nodes, it will have its own inductance, its own resistance, etc. And that becomes more critical at high frequency. So the approach that was taken by engineers at high frequencies was try to do away with parameters which are based on voltage and current. And instead talk about power, which can be uniquely defined. Okay. That leads to the 4th category called scattering parameters, SCATTERING. S parameters are actually used quite often in the lab also. Most of the equipment that we have got in the microwave world actually is based on S parameters. And next most popular parameters for microwave work is ABCD parameters. Z and Y parameters also can play an important role for derivations at least. But generally it is ABCD parameters and S parameters which are very commonly used for radio frequency and microwave work. And as I said, they, especially S parameters, they try to move away from voltage and current definition. What I am planning is I will not talk about S parameters right away because it talks about a concept called, like, if you have the input voltage connected to a network, there is a concept called incident voltage and reflected voltage. That means some voltage will go in, some will be reflected back to the source. And this happens at all the ports, whether it is output port or input port, or if it's more than two ports, that it may happen to other output ports also. At all ports, both voltage and current, even if you forget about power, both voltage and current will have some signal going in and some reflected back to the source. The matrix containing all the reflected voltages is connected to matrix containing all the incident voltages through a matrix called scattering matrix. That's one way of looking at scattering matrix. Another way is that you forget voltage and current completely. Instead, you talk about power going in and power being reflected back on both input and output ports. And we take square root of that and we define reflected power square rooted matrix. I know I'm talking too much. Please bear with me. I'll show this all to you later in mathematics. So important thing is that another definition for S parameters is that reflected powers are related to incident powers through S matrix. Both methods are equally powerful. They are both popular. And from the next lecture onwards, I intend to first talk about an overview of all the parameters, all the network parameters that we have done. Then I'm going to jump to a long discussion on transmission lines, because that's where you will understand and appreciate the concept of incident signal and reflected signal from various ports. By the way, a transmission line is nothing but a pair of wires in your home. Just there are too many transmission lines from one room to another, etc. Your entire building, your entire house is full of transmission lines. Transmission lines are so much around us that we don't even notice them. So transmission lines essentially are also two-port networks that you have to realize. So I'm going to start from next lecture talking about transmission lines first, so that we appreciate the concept of incident signal and reflected signal. And once I'm done with transmission lines, then I'm going to come back to scattering parameters. That is my approach. I could have gone into scattering parameters right away, but I realized that you will have difficulty appreciating the concept of incident and reflected signals. Okay. So please bear with my approach. From next lecture onwards, after a review of all the network parameters, we will jump into transmission lines, discuss a lot of mathematics, discuss a lot of things about it. And in the process, hopefully, the concept of incident and reflected signals will be clear to you. And then we will move to scattering parameters. One more thing which I would like to do even before transmission lines, maybe I'll do it in the next lecture, is noise considerations in networks. So far, what we have done is we have looked at signal coming in, signal going out, voltage coming in, current coming in, voltage going out, current going out, power coming in, power being dissipated, etc. The reality is that communication systems have unwanted signals also. Even in the lab, if you look at the CRO, turn it on and make the sensitivity of the channels quite small and connect nothing to the two channels. Even then you will see random signals on the CRO screen. That is called noise. Although this is not the correct course to discuss noise too much in detail, but I'll probably spend one lecture telling you how noise is characterized compared to the desired power. In fact, that is in the CIF also. So I better talk about it. Maybe on Monday, I'll first talk about noise considerations. And then after that will take maybe one lecture. That's it. Okay. After that, I'll move to transmission lines on Wednesday. That is probably a better approach. Okay. So please look at assignment 1 carefully. It needs to be submitted. There is weightage for it. If you need any help, feel free to contact. But timely submission is very important. Okay. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you on Monday.